everyone, Chef Leroy here, and well, I'm in the kitchen, and today I want to do another spin-off of chow mein, okay? This time we're going to do beef chow mein. You're basically using very identical ingredients, but obviously different protein. So I want to show you how to make this very simple dish. So let's get the camera over here and I'll show you exactly what's going on. All right, these are your ingredients for your beef chow mein. So we're using lean ground beef. This is 1 pound. I've got celery that I cut on a bias, sliced on a bias. This is actually 1 full stalk of celery, which was approximately 1.5 pounds before I trimmed it, okay? But it gave me just slightly over 4 cups of cut celery. In this bowl here, I've got 1/2 a yellow onion, which I small julienne, small pieces like this. I cut the onion in half and then in half again, and then I slice it. And I've got 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. All right, in this here, this is our magic sauce, all right? So we've got 2 cups of water. I'll go through the list here. We've got 2 cups of water. I have 4 teaspoons of beef concentrate. So this one, I'm gonna show you real quick. This is a liquid product. I had this given to me through a vendor. I don't know that you can find this in the store. It's possible that there is a product out there, but this was a liquid concentrate. Now, I just want to give you a little bit of information on doing bases. There are many styles of bases in the store. There's pastes, there's cubes, there's liquid. If you're making this recipe, stay with the same ingredient level, but on that base, before you add any other things to the water, start with your base. Add the base first, but add it in small increments. I would start like with a teaspoon and then maybe another teaspoon. In here, I've actually got 4 teaspoons of that beef concentrate. All right, I've also got 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1/4 teaspoon of sesame oil, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon MSG, and 4 tablespoons cornstarch, and 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper that is ground. All right, MSG, let's talk about that. This is accent. This is monosodium glutamate, that's what MSG stands for. This is what you're looking for when you go to the store. It looks like a salt. It's very similar. It just has a different taste to it. It's actually more of a chemical. If you do not want MSG or use MSG and you don't want to pay for it, you can use salt, okay? Or you don't need to use any salt if you don't want to, because you're using a little bit of base in here, and we're also using some soy sauce. Okay, so now you have the mixture here. This is all mixed together really well. I would use room temperature water. And also, I just want to give this to you too. If you didn't want to buy the stock, or the base, the beef base to make this, you can also use beef stock. I have 1 container here. I just didn't want to open it up for only 2 cups, but this is beef broth here. Sometimes in the store, they're selling smaller containers, like little 8-ounce ones. If you were going to do that and use a broth one, I would probably cut it with water. I'd use 1 8-ounce bottle of beef broth, and I'd use 1 8-ounce cup of water. That's what I would do. Otherwise it'll get too salty. All right, so we have to get water boiling on the stove. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna blanch off this celery. That's our first step. So let's get the celery in the pot. Make sure your water's boiling first. Let's get over to the stove. Okay, I'm over at my Thai pan. This is my wok pan. Water is almost to a boil. I'm gonna cover it quick. I got this all the way up on high temperature as well, and I've got induction, so I actually have it on boost. Get it hotter even faster. So bring it up to a boil quick, and you're gonna blanch that celery until it's tender. Celery now. All right, let's give it a cover and bring it back up to a boil. I'll show you what it looks like here in a minute. All right, just wanted to add one thing to the video since we're just waiting on the celery to come up to a boil and get cooked. So again, back to MSG. MSG is a very commonly used ingredient in Chinese cooking, just so you know. I'm sure other Asian countries use it too, but China is literally the biggest producer of MSG, and they're one of the biggest consumers of MSG. So if you're go to Chinese restaurants, there's a 100% sure chance that you've had MSG in your food. It is definitely adds a flavor to this that I think is very unique, and I think you kind of need it, honestly. But like I said, you don't have to use this. I would just omit this with 1 teaspoon with 1 teaspoon of salt. And honestly, if you're using soy sauce and you got a beef broth or a beef stock or a bouillon or a beef base, you could probably even get away with not even using salt at all if you don't really want to. Okay, sodium is your is your problem, then you can omit most of this stuff. All right, you won't have exactly the same flavors, but that's okay too. All right, let's let this cook. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the celery from the water here. This cooked for basically 10 minutes, so it depends on how hard you boil it. That will determine how quick your celery will cook and how done it gets, but just check it once in a while, make sure it's just that nice tenderness to it. And I was gonna mention also, if you wanted to, you can use some of this liquid as part of your sauce. So your magic sauce, if you wanted to go ahead and use 2 cups of this liquid, you could do that as well, or you can use 1. All right, so let's go ahead and pull all that celery out, and we'll go ahead and drain the water, and the next step is cooking the beef off. Okay, I just pulled my celery out and I drained it. Now I'm going to use a half tablespoon of oil. This is a non-stick, so you don't really need a lot of oil at all. And go ahead and put your beef right in there. Okay. I like to use a whisk to break the meat up. All right, let's just let it cook. You're just going to brown this up nicely, and that's where we're going to. All right, back at the pan here, and as you can see, the beef is starting to brown up. And the reason I like to use a whisk is you can break it down a little better. If you use a spoon, it's not as effective, and you end up with bigger pieces of meat. When you're doing this chow mein, you want to have nice small pieces. You want to break it down as much as you can. And I think that's why whisks work the best. And as you can see, I'm using a rubberized whisk in my nonstick. And I got this right now, and I got it on a medium-high temperature. And I can already see in the bottom of the pan there's quite a bit of liquid, which is coming off from the fat that's cooking out, even though it's an extra lean beef. And I have that little bit of oil in there. We're going to drain it with our strainer. Okay? All right, let's let it brown up and get back to the next step. Okay, beef is looking fantastic. All right, we're going to drain it out. Get ready for the next step. Okay, you can see I've got my pan back on the stove. I've got a little bit of beef left in there, it doesn't matter. There's a little bit of oil still in there, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw those onions right in there. That's a half of a yellow onion and 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. Now at this point you could add some more oil to it if you wanted to, but I have a little bit of coating of oil in here already, so I don't think I'm going to do that. And we're just going to saute those onions until they start to become clear. Okay, I think that looks really good, so let's go ahead and add our celery. Now there's going to be a little liquid in the bottom, which is fine. It just helps everything steam a little bit together. A little bit of a toss there. All right, let's go ahead and add that ground beef, just drained. Oh boy, it's looking like something I've seen in my past. Beef chow mein. I think we're going to try a pork one too. So this is Minnesota Classic beef chow mein. All right, at this point we're going to go ahead and add our magic sauce, which is right here. Give it a nice good spin with a whisk. Get all that cornstarch mixed in and pour it right in. Got a little bit of cornstarch in the bottom. Get back into that liquid in there. Try to get it off the bottom. You want all of that in there, okay? That's what's going to thicken this up. It's that cornstarch. All right, here we go. So even though this is a 1 skillet meal, there's a few vessels of things to wash. Got a couple measuring cups, and basically what you're doing is you're going to bring it back up to pretty close to a boil, and then that cornstarch will start to tighten up. All right, let's let it cook. Okay, I had brought this up to a boil, and now I just let it simmer for a little while. And look at that. That's exactly what you want. That looks fantastic. All right, we're going to serve this up. That's pretty much a wrap on the Minnesota Classic chow mein. Okay, we're known for heavy celery, a little bit of onion, meat, and a cornstarch gravy, basically. I really like this kind of base. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I think the amount of meat in here looks really good. And I have a little bit of jasmine rice. Okay, so we got that. We're going to take our chow mein and dump it right on top. A little bit more. And it's not chow mein officially until you add your chow mein thin noodles. So we need these guys right here. Okay. There's the noodles. think that looks fantastic. Now, if you want, you can add a little bit more soy sauce to your dish or sriracha or whatever you want to do, but this is a finished dish. Again, Minnesota classic beef chow mein. Last time I did chicken, but it just shows you how easy it is to move a couple ingredients around and you get two separate, completely different dishes. All right, you guys, that's all I got for you. Chef Leroy and out.